And so you think Errol gonna win?
Yeah, I got Errol Spence. Terence my guy, but he sent me a text. He said, "Hey, if you on the side, stay over there." But no, I got Errol Spence. Yeah.
That's good. I don't know.
How do you just say,
I don't know.
How do you say
Errol's
what?
gonna win? Like, how do you just flat out
Oh no!
Right.
Obviously, I said if you watch the
With a
show,
caveat,
you know
if
I
you
would
missed
broke
that.
it down 100 times.
Yeah.
But it's still after I break it down, I still say, "Damn, can he win?" After I can't even think sides for Terence.
But you've been in there with both of them.
Yeah.
That's what everybody.
So you should be able to tell us.
Come on, you tell me.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in there with both of them. You know.
You betting, right?
No,
I'm betting, so I'm trying to make some money.
No, I listen. Once I get that money from the white folks, I don't give it back to nobody else. I keep it to myself.
I haven't heard white folks since my daddy died.
Yeah.
honestly, as a fighter myself, I would bet on the pressure of Errol Spence Jr. If I was going to bet, I would bet on the pressure of Errol Spence Jr. because I fought that kind of style, and so I know where it could lead you to. But Terence has a whipping right hand, and he got a whipping left hand. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is he got power in both hands. There's no telling which way he's going to come out, which way he's going to stay, whatever the case may be. He has the ability to turn and get Errol to move his feet, get him off balance. Terence has the ability to punch in between the shots, which I think he's going to really, that's where he's going to have his most success is when, because Errol's like this. The most success he can have is when Errol opens up.
Throw a shot.
Because Errol coming right back. And so it's got to be two things. This is what I did to beat Errol. A lot of punches. That keeps his hands at home. He got to do this. When you offense, somebody got to do this. And then when I wasn't offense, I was moving. I was turning. I was trying to pivot, create other openings and things like that. Terence has to do all that. You know what
Errol
I mean?
has great defense, Sean. Now I've been watching.
Great defense.
Every fight, he is, like once that punch is gone, it's coming right back.
Great defense.
His defense is on, like one of the best defense in boxing.
Yeah.
And it's just the fundamentals, man. It's just, the A to B is great for him.
Yeah. I just see Errol, the pace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Just,
Yeah.
just the pace, the constant.
The championship
you
rounds.
Understand? I watch Bud fight. You know, I just think when Errol is going to put him on a pace that's going
It never stops.
that just keeps on, just keep going. That's going to make him. If I had to bet, if I was a betting man, eventually it's going to get him to just fight at a pace that he's not comfortable at.
Sean, Earthquake breaking it down with the pace. Do you, as Terence, I don't know. Terence, does he wait for that pace to slow down and take his moment, or you just jump in there and we just gonna rumble? Because if you don't catch that pace, you don't get left behind.
When I fought Errol Terence, when I fought Terence, a couple times where I was like, I wanted to initiate, and he was ready.
But y'all didn't fight at that Errol Spence.
We didn't fight at that Errol
Shawn Porter pace.
We didn't.
That was different pace.
And it was because every time I seen it was like he was ready. You know what I mean? And so we could very well have an Errol Spence who ends up being hesitant if he gets caught with one of those punches where he's releasing and he gets caught. You get caught with a couple counters, it's like, all right, now let me really try to set this up. And that itself slows down the pace of the fight. Okay. And so, it's advantageous for Terence to try to slow down the pace, but it ain't a reach for him to slow down the pace. Great fight. Both guys are captains in the ring. Both guys are dictators in the ring. You know what I mean? So
Do you take anything from Errol being bigger?
I don't think that Errol's bigger.
Okay.
I don't think that Errol's bigger. I mean, this is two things that people haven't really talked about. I'm glad we're going to talk about it right now. Talk about Errol, first of all, fighting at 147. He's been 47 his whole career. There's no telling where he's been before he comes down to 47.
Right.
But what we do know is he's been at 47 since 2012. And that's over 10 years. He's been at 147 pounds. You cannot build muscle by keeping your weight low, which means eventually you're going to shrink your body into whatever weight class you are in if you're holding that weight like that.
Okay.
It's really... unless he's cracked the code, I wasn't able to crack that
Well,
code.
you
So
know,
I don't
one
know.
person cracked it, Bernard Hopkins. He stayed 160 since he been 15 years old. That motherfucker had a 28-inch
That's
waist.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, Hopkins stayed at 160
And
the
B-Hop-
whole time. B-Hop stayed at 160.
But the
and
special
was
thing,
dominant.
the special thing about B-Hop was he's so committed and continued to train all the time. It ain't very many fighters that's like that. Errol has been. I'm not saying he is now, but he has gone on record for being 180, 190 pounds.
Okay.
Now, there's no telling what you had to do to cut that weight off.
Right.
And you've
Okay.
had to cut that off. Now, let's say he got it all together, but he's still a big man. He's walking around in 170. Now he's got to figure out a way to cut from 170. We don't know how big Terence gets when he was fighting at 140. We
Right.
don't know how big he got once he got to 147. We don't know how comfortable it is for him to make weight. But what
Right.
we do know is they the same height.
Okay.
So the best way to break it down is you should just say the package is just a little different.
Okay.
The Errol Spence
Errol's a
package-
little bigger,
The
Sean.
Errol Spence package looks a little bit
He
thicker.
a little
bit
bigger.
Taller than me?
Yeah, he a little bigger. A little bit. Yeah, he a little bigger.
Man, find the numbers.
Yeah, he a little.
Find the
He a
numbers.
little bigger.
I got my co-host over here.
Yeah, I think he a little bigger.
out my face.
Hey, Sean, what's the size's prediction on fight night? What we going 155 versus 160,
I
170?
heard what Breadman said in the roundtable. I really like that. He said against Danny Garcia, he saw that Errol Spence didn't look as thick as he thought he would have looked, and he thought he may have stayed in the 150s against that fight against Danny Garcia. No telling where he was, no telling what the protocol was or the game plan was that kept him wherever he was. But if we're looking at the full Errol Spence on fight night, we probably looking at 160 plus. 'Cause I would-
Spence, according to BoxRec, Spence is 5'9.5", Terence is 5'8".
Oh, I told you I won.
That's
I don't care. It's a win.
That's box
A
rec.
win's a
You know what I
win.
mean? Box rec.
Yeah, you disrespectful.
Box rec like Wikipedia. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
disrespectful.
I go to Wiki for everything, and I go to Box
Hey, what's
Rec for
Sean
everything
at?
as
What's
well.
Sean at box rec? 5'5"?
No, I tried to.
I mean, what are you?
I don't know.
He 5.
5'7", according to BoxRec.
5'7"? Hey, you little thing. Little thing.
Yeah, BoxRec may not be right.